It didn't begin with a miracle, it began with a whisper. Not a sound from heaven, not a blinding light, just a word passed from mouth to mouth, village to village. He's here. That was all it took. Carpenters left half-finished beams in place. Farmers dropped their tools in the fields. Mothers wrapped their children in whatever cloth they could grab. The lame leaned harder on their walking sticks. The blind gripped the hands that guided them. They came limping, hobbling, hoping, for a glimpse, for a word, for a touch. No food, no plan, just faith. Jesus, he wasn't looking for crowds that day. He had just received devastating news. His cousin, John the Baptist, the voice in the wilderness, the one who prepared the way, had been beheaded. So Jesus did what many of us might do in grief. He withdrew. He got in a boat with his disciples and sailed away, seeking solitude, silence, space to pray. But the people saw the boat, and they ran. They didn't let him go. They followed the shoreline on foot, racing over rocky hills and dusty trails, driven by desperation and faith. By the time Jesus came ashore, the quiet he sought was gone. Thousands were waiting. Now pause. Put yourself in that moment. You're Jesus. You're heartbroken, exhausted, grieving. And yet, you see them. Mothers clutching feverish children, a blind man led by his son, a girl with twisted legs, unable to walk. And instead of turning away, he is moved with compassion. Jesus steps into the crowd. And for hours he heals, he speaks, he touches, he restores. One after another, pain vanishes, limbs straighten, eyes open, diseases disappear, hope blooms like wildflowers on a hillside. The sun sinks lower in the sky. The disciples come to him, concern etched in their faces.
Rabbi, it's late, we're in the middle of nowhere. Send the people away so they can buy food.
Jesus turns to them and says something no one expects. They don't need to go. You feed them.
Master, even 200 days' wages wouldn't buy enough bread for each person to have even a bite.
Their jaws drop. Philip blurts out,
"There's a boy here. He has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. But what good is that with so many?"
Andrew steps forward, half embarrassed. "Bring them to me." Jesus doesn't answer the question. Instead, he smiles. The disciples organize the crowd, sitting them in groups across the grassy hillside. From a distance, it looks like a vast mosaic. Families, neighbors, strangers side by side, united by a shared hunger. And there, in the middle of it all, stands Jesus, holding a little boy's lunch. 5 barley loaves, dry, humble peasant bread. 2 small fish, probably dried or smoked. It was all the boy had. But he gave it, freely. Jesus lifts the food in his hands, looks to heaven, gives thanks. Then he breaks the bread, and breaks it again, and again, and again. Something divine happens in his hands. What was not enough becomes more than enough. As he gives, the bread never runs out, the fish never diminish. Basket after basket, the disciples carry food through the crowd, their eyes wide in stunned disbelief. People eat, they laugh, they share. Children take seconds, fathers shake their heads, unable to understand. Mothers press their hands over their mouths, realizing their children are full, truly full, for the first time in days. Now, gather the leftovers. So they do. And when they come back, there are 12 full baskets, 1 for each disciple, 1 for each doubting heart. 1 for each reminder that in the hands of Jesus, little becomes abundance. That day, over 5,000 men ate, not counting the women and children. But it wasn't just a meal. It was a message, a miracle of mercy, a moment in time when the veil between heaven and earth grew thin. And they knew, deep in their bones, that they had not merely been fed. They had been seen, they had been loved, they had encountered the power and compassion of the Son of God. And though they tried to make him king by force, Jesus slipped away to the mountains again. Because he hadn't come just to fill stomachs, he came to fill hearts. And in that moment, over 5,000 souls understood what it meant to be truly satisfied.